Clarity is power. It's the starting line of every meaningful transformation. And yet, it's the one thing most people skip. They talk about success, happiness, abundance. But when you ask them what that actually means to them, they hesitate, they fumble, they give you vague statements, borrowed dreams, or social media definitions of fulfillment. But here's the truth. If you can't see it clearly, you can't pursue it. If you don't define what it looks like, what it feels like, what it means, you'll never know when you've arrived. Most people are not stuck because they lack talent or resources. They're stuck because they're aiming at nothing. You cannot manifest something that you haven't clearly imagined. The universe doesn't respond to general desires. It responds to precision. It responds to certainty. You must treat your desires like blueprints, not wish lists. Imagine walking into an architect's office and saying, "Hey, I want you to build me my dream home." The architect says, "Great, tell me what it looks like." And you say, "Oh, big, nice, maybe something modern. I'll know it when I see it." That's not a vision. That's a fantasy. You're giving the universe a vague request and expecting a specific outcome. It doesn't work like that. You wouldn't accept that ambiguity from an architect. So why accept it from yourself? Clarity means detail. It means specifics. What does success actually look like to you? What time do you wake up when you've achieved it? Who's next to you? What city are you in? What do your mornings feel like? What kind of conversations are you having? How much are you earning? And what are you doing with that money? What kind of energy surrounds you? And who are the people you choose to spend it with? Most people never go deep enough. They settle for surface level answers. I want to be rich. I want to be happy. I want freedom. But none of those are goals. They're categories. They're placeholders. To manifest anything, you need to upgrade those placeholders into pictures so vivid, so rich with feeling that your brain can no longer distinguish between imagination and memory. That's how you activate your internal GPS. Your subconscious mind starts filtering reality differently. It begins spotting opportunities that align with your definition. But if there's no definition, there's no filter, no direction, no fuel. Clarity doesn't just guide your manifestation. It sharpens your decision making. When you know exactly what you want, every choice becomes easier. You don't waste energy asking, should I do this? Should I say yes to that? You already know it's aligned. You already know if it moves you closer to your vision or drags you further from it. Without clarity, everything looks tempting. With clarity, most things are irrelevant. You must get brutally honest with yourself. Strip away what the world told you to want. Ignore the noise. Tune out the shoulds that were planted in your mind by culture, family, or fear. Ask yourself, what do I want? Not what looks impressive, not what earns applause, what makes me come alive. That's your true north. Clarity also means making peace with your deepest desires. So many people dim their dreams because they're afraid of being judged. They want more, but they downplay it to seem realistic. But you not manifest a life that you're ashamed of wanting. If you crave a mansion by the ocean, own it. If you dream of total time freedom, say it out loud. Your desire is not something to suppress, it's something to follow. The more unapologetically clear you become, the faster life will begin to mirror that energy. And don't be afraid to write it down. There's something powerful about putting to paper and translating your inner world into words. The brain takes written goals more seriously. They become tangible. They move from your imagination into a framework your mind can build around. Write them in the present tense. Not I want, I am, not someday, but now. Language is the software of the mind. Speak to yourself like it's already real. Clarity also creates urgency. When the goal is clear, procrastination becomes uncomfortable. Ambiguity is the breeding ground for delay. But once you see your future vividly, your spirit becomes restless. You can't sit still knowing what's possible. You start taking action, not because someone told you to, but because the vision is pulling you forward. And make no mistake, your vision will evolve. That's normal. What you want today may expand tomorrow. You're allowed to change. But change it because you've outgrown it, not because you never defined it in the first place. Manifestation is not about chasing every shiny thing. It's about building a life that aligns with your soul. And that starts with clarity. Without it, you'll drift. You'll chase distractions. You'll climb ladders leaning against the wrong walls. You'll burn energy without direction. But when you're clear, you become unstoppable. When you're clear, life responds. When you're clear, every step becomes deliberate because clarity is the foundation. It's the filter. It's the fuel. Would you like me to expand Keynote 2 next? Screwed Up Life. One of the greatest lies we've been taught is that we have to wait for success before we feel successful, that we have to wait for love before we feel worthy, that we have to wait for freedom before we feel free. This mindset keeps people trapped in cycles of chasing, always pushing happiness into the future, always saying, I'll feel it when I get there. But that's not how manifestation works. That's not how the mind works. That's not how life works. If you're always waiting for the external result to give you permission to feel the internal emotion, you'll stay stuck in a loop. The real shift happens when you flip the script and begin to feel it first. Your emotions are not reactions. You're activators. They are not just effects of your reality. They are creators of it. The emotion you live in most consistently is the signal you're sending out. And life has no choice but to reflect that signal back to you. Think of emotion as a frequency, a vibration, a broadcast. You can't say, I want abundance while constantly vibrating the emotion of scarcity. You can't say, I want love while radiating unworthiness. You can't ask for confidence and live in doubt. That creates a mismatch. And the universe doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to who you're being. The truth is, your brain doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something actually experienced. If you sit quietly and close your eyes and feel the joy of holding your published book, or standing on stage speaking to thousands, or walking into the home you've always dreamed of, your nervous system lights up as if it's happening right now. You activate the same neurochemicals, the same physical responses. You're not daydreaming, you're conditioning. When you embody the emotion before the outcome, you're training your body to become the future in the present. That's how manifestation accelerates. You're no longer waiting, you're becoming. And when you become reality bends, opportunities that match your new emotional state start appearing, not because you forced them, but because you finally aligned with them. Most people live backward. They live in reaction to the external world, letting results determine emotions. If they see progress, they feel good. If they face resistance, they collapse emotionally. This is a powerless way to live. It makes you a slave to circumstances, constantly waiting for permission to feel good. But powerful creators don't operate this way. They decide how to feel and then let the world catch up. Ask yourself, what would it feel like if your dream had already happened? Not hypothetically, viscerally. Would your shoulders relax? Would your breathing deepen? Would your voice carry more confidence? Would you move differently, speak differently, walk into rooms with more presence? Good. Now practice being that version of you now before the results show up. This isn't pretending. This isn't faking it. This is accessing the truth of who you already are before the world confirms it. You are not becoming someone new. You are remembering. And every time you practice that emotional state, you're wiring it into your body. You're making it your default instead of your exception. That's the power of living from the end. Olympic athletes do this. They don't just train their bodies. They train their minds to feel the gold medal before they've won it. They rehearse the feeling of victory so often that by the time it actually happens, it feels familiar. Successful entrepreneurs do this. They emotionally rehearse what it's like to build, scale, succeed. They don't wait for external validation. They become the person who has already earned it. If you want to manifest health, don't wait for your body to be perfect before you feel vitality. Start cultivating energy, joy, movement now. If you want to manifest wealth, don't wait for the bank account to change before you feel abundant. Start cultivating generosity, gratitude, confidence in your earning potential now. If you want to manifest love, don't wait for the partner before you feel worthy. Start treating yourself with the same presence and appreciation you expect to receive. Every moment is an opportunity to rehearse the emotional signature of your future. The more time you spend in that elevated state, the faster the gap closes between who you are and what you want. And when those elevated emotions become familiar, when they become your new baseline, your life has no choice but to rise to match them. You don't manifest what you hope for. You manifest what you emotionally live in. And whatever you practice becomes permanent. If you practice stress, you become stress. If you practice gratitude, you become gratitude. If you practice joy, you become joy. You condition your nervous system to the future you've chosen, and that future begins to materialize in ways you couldn't have predicted. You must take ownership of your emotional state before anything else. That's the foundation. You have to decide that your future isn't something you wait for. It's something you live from. Because once you do that, reality bends to meet the emotion, not the other way around. Would you like me to move on to Keynote 3 next? Belief is the root of all creation. Before anything is built, achieved, or manifested, it exists first as belief. Every bridge, every business, every breakthrough began in someone's mind as a conviction that it was possible. But belief doesn't happen by accident. It must be cultivated. It must be conditioned. It must be fed and reinforced until it becomes your default operating system. Too many people treat belief like a mood, something that comes and goes depending on the weather of life. If things go well, they believe. If things go wrong, they doubt. This is emotional gambling. It creates an unstable foundation. You cannot manifest your vision with a belief system that collapses under pressure. Belief isn't something you visit when it's convenient. It's something you install, protect, and renew every single day. You have to train your mind the same way you train your body. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be strong forever. You go again and again because strength is a result of repetition. Belief works the same way. If you want to strengthen your belief in your vision, in your ability, in your purpose, you have to expose your mind to that belief repeatedly until it becomes your identity. Every day, you are either conditioning belief or conditioning doubt. There is no neutral ground. You are either feeding your mind empowering thoughts that expand you, or you're allowing limiting thoughts to shrink you. You are either rehearsing the story that supports your goals, or you're rehearsing the one that sabotages them. Your mind doesn't care which one you repeat. It will accept whatever you feed it the most. Belief must become a non-negotiable part of your daily practice. And that means becoming intentional about what you allow into your awareness. You have to guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. The voices you listen to, the words you repeat, the images you focus on, they are all shaping your belief system every moment of the day. And what you believe will determine what you manifest. Start by choosing your mental diet. What are you feeding your mind first thing in the morning? Are you scrolling through negativity, reacting to chaos, or comparing your life to strangers online? Or are you speaking your vision out loud, visualizing your goals, immersing yourself in thoughts that fuel your confidence and expand your imagination? The first few moments of your day set the emotional tone for everything that follows. Make them intentional. Affirmations aren't cheesy when they're consistent. Repetition reprograms the subconscious. Every time you affirm who you are and what you're capable of, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your belief. But this isn't just about words. It's about emotion. You must feel what you say. You must declare your truth with the certainty of someone who's already living it. You're not lying to yourself. You're reminding yourself. You're calling forward the version of you that already exists in potential and anchoring into the present. Visualization is another tool of conditioning. But don't just visualize the goal. Visualize yourself overcoming the obstacles. See yourself navigating rejection, bouncing back from failure, standing tall in the middle of uncertainty. When your brain rehearses success in the face of resistance, it begins to expect victory even when things look messy. That's real belief, not just positive thinking, but powerful expectation rooted in emotional rehearsal. Surrounding yourself with belief is just as critical. The environment you place yourself in can either reinforce your power or drain it. You must surround yourself with people, messages, and spaces that mirror the belief you are building. If you're constantly exposed to small thinking, it will shrink your standards. If you spend time with people who normalize fear and delay, their mindset will infect yours. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. Build one that supports your highest self. And understand that belief is not about ignoring reality. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing which reality you will reinforce. You can acknowledge your current circumstances without becoming enslaved by them. Belief gives you permission to see beyond what is and create what could be. It doesn't require evidence. It creates it. It's the seed before the fruit, the fire, the light. You are not born with unshakable belief. You build it. Brick by brick, moment by moment, day by day, through repetition, through focus, through emotional alignment. through relentless refusal to let fear become the dominant voice in your mind. Every time you say, I can, every time you choose action over doubt, every time you speak your truth louder than your excuses, you are conditioning belief. And the stronger it becomes, you have a screwed up life, the more the external world begins to conform to it. Would you like me to continue with keynote 4 next? There's a universal truth that separates those who manifest their desires from those who only dream about them. That truth is action. Not just any action, but massive, aligned action. This is the bridge between the vision in your mind and the reality you live in. It's the difference between wishful thinking and unstoppable momentum. You can have the clearest goals, the strongest emotions, the most powerful beliefs, but without aligned execution, nothing changes. Nothing moves. Energy without direction is noise, but energy with focused, fearless motion becomes creation. Massive action means moving boldly. It means deciding that the dream is non-negotiable and acting like it. It means doing more than most people are willing to do. Not because you're desperate, but because you are certain. Because once you believe something is already yours, hesitation becomes unnatural. The moment you decide that what you want is inevitable, action becomes effortless. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for the perfect plan. You stop needing validation. You move because anything less than action feels like a betrayal of your potential. But there's a critical distinction here. Massive action is not frantic effort. It's not about hustle for the sake of appearance. It's not about burning yourself out in pursuit of an illusion. That's why the word aligned matters. Aligned action means your behavior matches your vision, your values, and your internal compass. It means you're moving with clarity, not just intensity. It means you're not busy just to be busy. You're strategic, precise. You're following the signals of your intuition while honoring the discipline of execution. People often confuse being in motion with being in progress. They spin their wheels, make endless to-do lists, jump from project to project, thinking that activity equals achievement. But unless your actions are aligned with your highest intention, you're just running in circles. Alignment is when your inner world and outer world are speaking the same language. It's when your choices are shaped by your future self, not your current fears. When your decisions are guided by the outcome you've already claimed, not the circumstances you're reacting to. Taking aligned action means you don't wait for motivation to show up, you act, and motivation follows. It means you don't let fear stop you from moving. You move, and fear dissolves in motion. Action is the cure for doubt. The moment you begin, the fog starts to lift. Confidence doesn't come before action. It is the result of action. Every step you take builds evidence. Every move you make reinforces belief. And the more evidence you build, the harder it becomes to deny your own power. Your breakthrough is not in the next idea. It's in the next step. Most people are addicted to information. They think the answer is in one more book, one more seminar, one more conversation. But learning without action becomes a trap. You don't need more knowledge, you need more courage. You need to take what you already know and translate it into movement. There is no perfect timing. There is only now. There is no guaranteed result. There is only your willingness to risk being wrong in service of getting it right. Aligned action also means making decisions quickly and committing deeply. Indecision is the silent killer of dreams. When you hesitate, when you overthink, when you wait for every variable to line up, you rob yourself of momentum. And momentum is everything. Success is not built on isolated acts. It's built on sustained motion. When you act consistently in the direction of your desires, you create compound results. Small wins stack. Confidence grows. New opportunities appear. The path that once invisible becomes clear. Taking action doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are guaranteed. But aligned action welcomes failure as feedback. It treats every setback as a lesson, not a limit. It understands that every wrong turn is still movement, still growth, still closer to the vision than standing still. You cannot think your way to mastery. You can only move your way into it. Action is the only teacher that speaks the truth of real-world results. To live in alignment with your desire, you must make action your habit, not your exception. You must normalize doing the things that others avoid. You must become the person who acts when it's uncomfortable, who moves when others wait, who builds while others dream. You're not here to tiptoe around your potential. You're here to claim it. And claiming it means showing up every day with the decision already made. The decision that your vision is real. The decision that your life will be shaped by intention, not by chance. The decision that you are the one, not someday, not maybe. Now, would you like me to continue with Keynote 5 next? Manifestation doesn't begin with what you want. It begins with who you are. The fastest, most powerful way to transform your reality is not by chasing outcomes, but by embodying the identity of the person who already has them. Until you shift your identity, everything you build will be temporary. You might get results, but you won't keep them. You might reach milestones, but you'll sabotage your success if your inner world hasn't evolved to match your outer progress. True manifestation is not about forcing change. It's about becoming the version of you for whom that change is natural. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. And what you are is defined by what you consistently believe, think, feel, and do. Identity is not a label. It's not a blueprint, an unconscious map that shapes your decisions, reactions, and standards. It determines how you show up, what you tolerate, what you pursue, and what you allow yourself to receive. You will never outperform your identity. You may visit success, but if it doesn't match your sense of self, you will retreat back into what feels familiar, even if that familiarity is pain, struggle, or mediocrity. This is why you must upgrade your identity to align with the reality you want to live in. You must begin asking yourself in every situation, what would the version of me who already has the life I want do right now? How would they speak? How would they walk into this room? How would they handle conflict? How would they respond to challenge? How would they treat their time, their body, their relationships, their dreams? These aren't surface level adjustments. These are internal rewrites. You are not just acting differently. You are creating a new default. It's not about faking it. The version of you who already has what you desire is not fictional. It's real. It exists inside you as potential, waiting to be activated by decision and action. Every time you step into that version, even for a moment, you're laying new neural pathways. You're reinforcing a new emotional baseline. You're sending a signal to your subconscious that this is who we are now. Not one day, maybe. Now. That's how identity is built. Not overnight, but through daily embodiment. The challenge is that most people try to manifest from their current identity, the one shaped by their past. They let their history define their future. They let old stories about what's possible dictate what they pursue. But you cannot build a new life with the same identity that created your limitations. The stories that got you here will not get you there. You have to consciously break up with the role's rules and beliefs that no longer serve you. If you see yourself as someone who always struggles, you will reject ease. If you see yourself as someone who's overlooked, you will resist visibility. If you see yourself as someone who is not ready, you will delay your greatness in the name of preparation. You have a screwed up life. The most radical act of creation is to stop arguing for your limitations. Stop defending the version of yourself that keeps you small. Stop using your past as evidence for what your future can't be. Every identity is a choice. Every belief is an agreement. You can unchoose, you can unsubscribe, you can rewrite the script, but you have to be intentional, you have to be relentless, and you have to be willing to let go of the comfort that comes with being who you've always been. Identity is not changed through affirmation alone. It is changed through evidence. You must give yourself experiences that prove the new identity is real. This is why aligned action is so critical. Every time you act as your future self, you gather proof. You build self-trust. You become less attached to the old version. You start recognizing the gap between who were and who you are becoming. That gap closes with repetition. That identity becomes real because it's lived, not just imagined. There is a reason most transformations don't last. People focus on behavior instead of identity. They try to change their habits without changing the story behind them. But when you truly shift your identity, the behaviors become automatic. The standards rise on their own. You don't have to force discipline. You live in integrity with who you are. You don't have to push for motivation. You're pulled by vision. You don't have to negotiate your worth. It's embedded in your being. You must understand that every time you show up as the next level version of yourself, you're collapsing the distance between and the reality. Your identity becomes a magnet for the circumstances, people, and opportunities that match its frequency. You don't have to chase anything. You draw it to you through who you've decided to be. You radiate a level of certainty that makes the world respond differently. Because when your identity is aligned, you stop seeking permission. You stop hesitating. You stop doubting, You trust. You embody. Would you like the entire speech combined into one document for use or presentation? You were never meant to live a life of limitation. You were never meant to settle, shrink, or wait for the world to give you permission. Everything you desire is already within you, waiting to be claimed, activated, embodied. But it begins with a decision to get crystal clear on what you truly want, a decision to feel it before it's real, a decision to condition your belief until doubt has no room to breathe, a decision to take massive, you aligned action no matter how uncomfortable. And most of all, a decision to own the identity of the person who already has it. You are not here to wish. You are here to create. You are not here to survive. You are here to lead. This is not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you already are when you strip away the fear, the excuses, the stories, and the lies. The future doesn't happen to you. It's built by you. Every thought, every emotion, every move you make is shaping the world you will live in tomorrow. So step into the version of yourself who is no longer waiting. Speak like them. Move like them. Decide like them. Because the moment you do, you're no longer manifesting your dream. You're living it. Let me know if you'd like this formatted for print, slides, or video narration.